Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to dive right into how GPS technology is completely transforming modern agriculture from the ground up and honestly, saving massive amounts of money and time in the process. If you've been thinking farming is just about, tractors and dirt, you are definitely in for a fascinating surprise.
I mean, we all use location tracking every single day, right? We use it to find a new coffee shop or navigate our way out of a busy city. But applying that exact same technology to thousands of acres of fields, well, that is literally the smartest way to turn really costly guesswork into incredible precision. Just imagine for a second if that little blue dot on your smartphone could save seed, fuel, fertilizer, and just countless hours of backbreaking labor. Okay, so let's look at the old way versus the new way. The old way of farming relied heavily on memory, rough estimates, maybe some physical landmarks. And look, a farmer's intuition is absolutely incredibly valuable, but relying purely on it, it means that small mistakes, like overlapping a spray zone by literally just a few inches, quietly compound into massive financial losses over a whole field. That's exactly the problem centimeter-level GPS solves, because in modern farming, close enough just doesn't really cut it anymore. To get everyone on the exact same page here, GPS, or Global Positioning System, uses signals from satellites way up in space to give massive machines down in the dirt mind-bending accuracy. And whether it's just a smartphone or a huge specialized tractor, once a machine knows its exact coordinates, everything it does becomes smarter and significantly more efficient. Part 1, a smarter growing season. Let's walk through the timeline. When we look at the whole seasonal journey, you really see how every single phase connects. We start by mapping the bare dirt. Then we move to placing seeds, applying inputs like fertilizer, managing the water through irrigation, and finally harvesting the crops. Each of these steps naturally builds on the precision of the one before it. So the very first step is mapping. You know how farmers just kind of know their land emotionally? They know exactly where the water stands after a heavy storm or where pests always seem to pop up first. Basic GPS actually turns that gut feeling into a visible, rigorous digital record. You're marking boundaries, drains, and problem spots, which creates the super reliable foundation that dramatically improves your planning for the whole year. Now, when we move to planting, the differences are striking. Have you ever tried driving your car in a perfectly straight line across a totally empty field? It's pretty much impossible. Without guidance, you're risking wasted seed and uneven growth. But with GPS planting, you get these beautifully straight rows, minimal overlap, and uniform spacing. And just making that one smart decision echoes through the entire season, making weeding, watering, and harvesting so much easier. And that brings us to the core financial anchor of all this. Maintaining your path accuracy in massive fields, especially if you're dealing with blowing dust or working a night shift, is incredibly difficult. Without guidance, operators overlap their passes, meaning they're double spraying really expensive chemicals. By using GPS to eliminate that overlap, you instantly stop wasting money. When fertilizer prices spike, this kind of accuracy is the absolute ultimate shield for your profit margins. Just a few centimeters. That's our next point with irrigation. You might not instantly connect space satellites with watering crops, but a field that looks perfectly flat to the human eye almost always has subtle elevation changes. And honestly, even a few centimeters of difference can cause water to pool up and drown your crops. GPS-guided land leveling and slope measurement ensures the water flows exactly where it's needed, which just stops waste dead in its tracks. Part 2, the power of yield maps. Welcome to data-driven farming. So, during harvest, modern combine sensors link yield data with exact GPS coordinates. This generates a hyper-detailed map revealing exactly where the field thrived and, well, where it struggled. It exposes these hidden patterns, like maybe there's a sandy ridge or a low wet area that always underperforms. Without GPS, those patterns are totally invisible. But with it, poor zones finally become visible on a screen, which means you can actually fix them. Which brings us to a really crucial concept, variable rate management. Look, instead of treating every single square meter of your field identically, which is what we used to do, you apply custom strategies. You can actually adjust seed and fertilizer on the fly based on specific field zones. You give the high-performing areas exactly what they need to maximize output, while maybe nursing the weak areas a bit differently. It's basically the ultimate form of working smarter, not harder. Part 3, precision for every farm. This is an accessible reality. You might be thinking, this is only for huge corporate operations, but you absolutely don't need $1 million machine to get started. High-end systems with what's called RTK corrections, basically ground antennas that fix satellite drift for jaw-dropping centimeter-level precision, yeah, those are costly. But on the flip side, everyday tools like a smartphone or a tablet offer basic meter precision that is super affordable. A phone is totally fine for logging a past hotspot, while advanced systems step in when you really need those perfectly parallel rows year after year. You just pick the tool for the job. Part 4. Avoiding common tech mistakes. Let's talk about the traps. Look, technology isn't a magic wand, right? There are 3 major traps we see people fall into. First, buying tech without a clear pain point. If fuel waste isn't actually your biggest issue, expensive guidance tech might not be your fix. Second, ignoring setup and training. That instantly turns a really powerful system into a very expensive, frustrating dashboard decoration. And third, collecting beautiful data maps but never actually taking action on them. Maps that just sit on an iPad create absolutely zero profit. Because ultimately, the only goal here is action. When you notice a specific section of a field always yields less, GPS mapping gives you the exact location to go fix the drainage next season. When repeated fertilizer overlap is bleeding you dry, guidance lines stop it. You raise your yield, you drop your input costs. It really proves that none of this is magic. It's just location-based problem solving. And I really love this quote. It all boils down to this. It's not about satellites. It's about decisions. Whether you're deciding where to plant, where to spray, where to irrigate, or where to stop wasting money, smart farming begins with clarity and data, not just big, shiny machinery. The farms that thrive in the future won't necessarily be the ones with the largest acreage, but rather the ones that understand every single inch of their land the best. The key? Just start simple. Map your fields, record your problems by location, learn the patterns, and then organically grow into advanced tools only when they prove real value for your operation. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought. What other ancient industries could be totally transformed by simple location tracking? The potential out there is massive. If you're curious about the specific low-cost tools small farmers are using right now to get started, keep exploring modern agriculture guides to see where true efficiency begins. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope this gave you a brand new perspective on the dirt beneath our feet.